there, right?
Oh, 100%. This morning we're looking good. No ice out there this morning, but this weekend stay off the roads, and I'm confident to tell you that at this point. I'll go ahead and look at two of the medium range models coming up here in just a second. It's 22 in Charlotte right now, 25 in Monroe. So I do want to get you at the door because it's chilly. 17 in Salisbury right now. Albemarle sitting at 18 degrees with Monroe at 25, heading to Hickory 21 with Morganton sitting at 16 degrees. So looking at your day planner for today, again, got to talk about what's happening first, and then I'll get to the weekend. We'll be topping out right near average, about 50 to 52 degrees as we head through the day today. Now, yeah, we're maybe going to see an isolated shower, but it's toward the latter half of the day. We are really looking at those partly cloudy skies as we travel through your Wednesday. So let's go ahead and time it out with you on Future Track. Again, not too much. We're going to see this southeasterly wind, or southwesterly rather, as we head through the day today. Late tonight, overnight, we could see a couple of showers with that isolated activity. I think this is a little overdone, but isolated continuing as we head through the day on Thursday. Just rain Thursday into Friday. So we have a couple more days to just go ahead and prepare for what's to come as we head into this upcoming weekend, and prepare for a little bit of a warmer temp as we head through your Wednesday and into Thursday. 52 for Wednesday. Come Thursday, 60 degrees, and then by Friday those temperatures drop, wind direction shifts, so northeasterly wind pulling down the 40s into the forecast on Friday, setting the stage for colder air and also just wintry precipitation as we head through this upcoming weekend. So we look at your winter storm watches. These are stretching all the way from New Mexico across areas of Texas, leading into the northern parts of Alabama and Mississippi, stretching all the way into Tennessee. So we don't have these issued just yet, but we will have those issued here shortly. And then those winter storm watches ending up turning into warnings. So here's an overview. I'm showing you the European model. So in a second, I'll walk you through the European, or in a few minutes, the European and the American model. But timing this out for you Saturday into Sunday. One of the models has an onset of moisture early Saturday, the other starting around 4 p.m. One model has all ice, all freezing rain and sleet. The other one has a little bit of snow and then a mix. So right now, precipitation type, really everything. We could even end up with a little bit of rain late Saturday. Impacts, we're looking at power outages and of course rough roads across the area. Power outages that could last days and days and days. And that's a problem when we have an 8-degree temperature in the forecast. This is going to be a prolonged cold and a prolonged event as we head through this weekend and starting into next. You head to Boone and into Hickory, 22 in Gastonia, and then heading into Charlotte as well. So a pretty calm and quiet day out there. I'll call it a mix of sun and clouds, but here comes this cold front that's going to approach the area, bring a few showers to the region overnight tonight into early Thursday. Just a couple of showers though. A few of those could linger for our southern counties as we head through the day on Thursday, or through the day on Friday rather, and holding a few more clouds in the forecast. But that cold front setting the stage for what is to come as we head through this upcoming weekend. We're going to have a powerful area of high pressure up to the north supplying that cold air. We're going to have a low pressure to the south supplying the moisture from the Pacific and from the Gulf. So we are just right in the zone to see a wintry mess as we head through this upcoming weekend. I do want to go ahead and start with this because you've been hearing a lot, all these mixed precipitation types, and you might say, well, what is leading to that? It is because the column of air from the clouds down to the surface are different temperatures. So we call this a warm nose when we have areas aloft that are warmer than areas here at the surface. So you get cold air. So from the cloud, precipitation does start to fall as snow, and then it actually melts in this warm column of air that's up in the atmosphere. But here at the surface, any contact or any precipitation that makes contact with the freezing temperatures here at the surface just freezes into ice. So this is probably our case scenario, is going to be a freezing rain or sleet scenario. And these are the worst ones because it impacts travel. It weighs on power lines, which can lay our way on tree branches as well that can then fall on power lines. The snow setup it's possible for the onset of precipitation because we might not have that warmer air aloft at the very beginning of the day Saturday. That's why the timing is so important. So you look at the American model, we're going to have a northeasterly wind aloft and at the surface at that point. So this is 9 a.m. showing some snow starting, and then we play this out through the day. We're looking at that mixed bag of precipitation to continue. This is right around that I-85. We have I-85 riders here all the time. South of it sees ice, north of it sees snow. That's certainly a possibility, and that's kind of what the American model is leaning a little bit more toward, but more in the way of ice for the majority of the night and then heading into the day Sunday. Now you look at the European model. Look at the timing. This is 2 p.m. Moisture's just kicking off in areas across the high country. This warm nose is starting to become established, meaning air here at the surface is going to be freezing. So we are still getting that northeasterly wind, but southeasterly winds or southwesterly aloft is going to lead to a warmer air, meaning we're just looking at freezing rain to sleet, meaning a lot of ice accumulation. So that's why the timing hasn't been locked down, because both of these models can't be right. Somewhere usually right in between, and then in terms of precipitation type, we're still kind of weighing that down as well. Now, one thing I do not want us to sleep on are the cold temperatures to follow this precipitation. Look at Tuesday morning, you guys. These are actual air temperatures. We could see overnight lows hovering like -5, below 0, 2 degrees out there for Tuesday night, and then again heading or Tuesday night and heading again into Wednesday morning. So it's going to be they're too much. Let's go ahead and look at your winter storm watch that we have issued. Not here for the Carolinas, but I want to just show you, this is such an expansive storm. You know, I have family actually in Louisiana, and I was my grandmother. I was making sure that she was okay. There's so many people. If you have friends or family across Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, Virginia, North Carolina, all of these areas are going to be impacted by this storm. So make sure you check on your people and make sure they have everything they need to prepare for potential a lot of snow or even a lot of ice. This winter storm watch now expands about 1,200 miles, but in the grand scheme of things, this storm system is going to impact areas across probably a 2,000 mile span. This is a massive winter storm. High pressure to the north, a moisture source down to the south is going to lead to potential catastrophic impacts for some areas. If areas do end up seeing an inch of ice accumulation, if you were watching at the beginning of the show, I actually spoke to somebody from Duke Energy yesterday. It just takes 1/4 inch of ice to start weighing on those branches. Anything above that, it could just lead to branches coming down on power lines, trees down. It could just lead to horrible impacts. Ice is what you do not want to see. And guess what we're trending more toward? Of course, in our area, it's going to be ice. So freezing rain and sleet. We could see an onset of snow. We're still trying to kind of nail out these precipitation types across the area since we're going to be borderline right in the middle. But the timing right now looks Saturday into Sunday. Why can't I tell you an exact timing? Models are just differing right now. One model has an onset of precipitation at about 6 o'clock in the morning, which means snow first and then a little bit of ice, freezing rain and sleet. And then another model doesn't have the onset of precipitation until 3 or 4 in the afternoon Saturday. So we are still fine-tuning this timing. The precipitation type is looking like sleet, snow, freezing rain, potentially even ending with a little bit of rain across the area. And those impacts are going to be those power outages and, of course, rough road conditions here across the area as well. Temperatures out there right now, though, 16 in Morganton, 22 in Charlotte and in Gastonia. Shelby right now sitting at 19 degrees along with Albemarle. So it is a very cold start out there today. We'll see these temperatures rising to right around average, about 50 to 52 as we travel through the day today. We'll stay dry. Expect some more clouds out there as we head through your Wednesday. Look at this wind right out of the south, so pulling up those average temperatures as we head through the day today. Some showers are in the forecast as we travel into your Thursday. Temperatures going to be warmer though because we'll be ahead of this approaching front, so temperatures likely warming to about 60 and then we'll start cooling down with a wind direction shift as we head through the day on Friday. Friday, still holding that rain chance in the forecast, but that rain chance then turns to a wintry precipitation chance. Again, sleet, freezing rain, and snow as we head through this upcoming weekend. Just prepare for a very messy weekend. I had someone ask me yesterday what my weekend plans. Absolutely nothing other than monitoring the storm system for you guys, but don't expect to go on a road trip or anything as we head through this weekend. In Gastonia, 22 degrees right now as well, 16 in Morganton, 17 as you head toward Lincolnton. So it is a very cold start out there this morning, guys. As we head through the day, expect temperatures to warm. Close to average will be about 52 as we travel through your Wednesday under partly cloudy skies. So definitely expecting a few more clouds out there than what we've seen over the last couple of days. All eyes are on what's going to happen as we head through this weekend. So we do have the cold air to the north, a storm system down to the south that'll pump up that moisture. Now it's exactly how strong that ridge of high pressure is and where this low ends up tracking, more toward the coast or up to the north a little bit. This will totally depict the timing and the precipitation type as we head through Saturday and into Sunday. I'm showing you two of the medium range models. This is the American model showing really that I-85 corridor. First, I want to point out the onset of the moisture is earlier in the day, meaning the column of air, we don't really have that warm nose, but then we do transition to a little bit of that wintry mix. So the column of air from the cloud to the ground for snow is all below that freezing mark. You don't have any melting in the middle layers of the atmosphere until later on in the day. That's why the American model, the GFS, is saying, hey, I actually think we could see snow and then an onset of a little bit of a wintry mix. You look at the European model, this is 2 p.m. Still not seeing moisture across the area. If we have a later onset of precipitation, we're looking at that warmer air in the middle levels of the atmosphere, meaning we're looking at a frozen Mexico over into Tennessee, the northern fringe there of Alabama into Mississippi, Louisiana, stretching all the way across Texas into areas of Kansas as well. This is such an expansive storm system that we will be tracking as we head through this upcoming weekend. So let's go ahead and look at kind of some headlines for you. And this is the European model. I would tell you, because we're not gatekeeping anything. We don't know exactly when this is going to start, and we don't know exactly what precipitation type will fall. But I will say we are pretty confident, or confidence is growing, I should say, at this point, that this is not going to be an all snow event. We are going to have ice here across the area. And it is, you look at the past events, and it's so typical that we have that kind of I-85 corridor that splits the area, a little bit more snow to the north, a little bit more ice to the south. So right now, models are actually trending toward more of a freezing rain and sleet event, which is not good news for us. That is what causes the tree limbs to start bending and going down, to fall on power lines. So our impacts, we're looking at power outages and very rough travel out there. The timing, Saturday through Sunday, precipitation type all on the board right now, because we could start off with a little bit of snow, but again, I think primarily we are looking at that frozen precipitation type. So what can you do right now? The emergency kit, the food, the water, the medicine, the flashlights. I have 2 young kids at home. They drink a lot of milk. The milk was almost gone at our Harris Teeter yesterday. So please just go ahead and prepare, stock up on some of those things that you need. Of course, don't overstock, but get some of those things that you need. Have an alternate heating source as well, even if it's just extra blankets. Your house will lose that heat very quickly if you lose power, and depending on how bad the roads are, it could take Duke Energy a couple of days to get around to your neighborhood. So that, of course, is worst case scenario, but you want to be prepared. Check that carbon monoxide and smoke detectors, and you guys, generators do not go in your house. Those need to stay outside, but definitely double check those detectors in your house to make sure those are working. Current temperature 16 in Morganton, 22 in Charlotte, 23 in Gastonia. So it is a very cold start as we head through the day today. We'll see these temperatures topping out right near that average mark in the low 50s. A few more clouds out there, but we will be staying rain free as we head through the day. Your day planner topping out again about 52, which is right near average. South-southwesterly wind pulling up some of that warmth. We'll have another warm day on tap tomorrow before this very frigid air arrives as we head head through the weekend and into next week as well. Future track, you can see a few clouds out there. Temperatures will be near that average point as we head through the day today. We'll have this cold front that will end up moving across the area, but ahead of that again, that warmth going to move in. Any precipitation that does fall Thursday and Friday will just be rain. It's going to be the weekend that we get in on that mix. Talking about how cold it is outside, 17 in Morganton, 21 in Hickory, 20 in Boone, with West Jefferson sitting at 23, Salisbury 18, Wadesboro sitting at 20, and Cheraw 23. So it is so cold out there this morning. Definitely bundle up as the kids are probably already at school or already at the bus stop. Hopefully they have that big jacket on because it's chilly. 52, so average highs as we head through the day today. We are looking at a few more clouds out there as we travel through your Wednesday, which you can see on Future Track. We definitely have some more clouds in the way of rain. We'll stay dry as we head through today, but as we head into Thursday, dealing with a couple of isolated showers, more possibly widely scattered as this cold front ends up making its way across the area, transitioning from Thursday, heading into Friday. Certainly seeing some more cloud cover as we end out this week. Also cooler temperatures transitioning into Friday as well. 40s will have nothing on the temperatures that we will see late weekend and then heading into next week as well. Let's go ahead and look at this next storm system. We have this ridge of high pressure up to the north. This is going to pull in that very cold air. Then we have the storm track down to the south. This is an area of low pressure that's going to pull up that moisture from the Gulf and heading from the Pacific as well. So we have the cold air in place and we will have the moisture in place as well. It's just what temperature profile is aloft on what the precipitation type we are going to see. So let's talk precipitation types here for a second. I'm just kind of educating you on why we're not just going to see a totally all snow event, because we're going to have warmer air aloft. So we look at the cloud all the way down to the surface, and it's not all going to be below freezing. It could at the very onset of the precipitation if it comes earlier in the morning, which one model is showing. But then we have warmer air building aloft or in the middle levels of the atmosphere. So you have potentially snow falling from the cloud, melting and then refreezing at a frozen surface temperature. So on contact with anything, it would freeze, and that's when you get black ice. So you have a deep layer of warm air with a very shallow surface layer of cold air. So the American model saying, hey, I think we could actually have that entire column of the atmosphere from the cloud down to the surface below freezing, meaning an onset of snow. But as we progress through the day, we're going to see that ice shift to the north. This is just one of the computer models. This would lead to a little bit of that mix. Well, a lot of the mix. Totals will be high because we do have a lot of precipitation to work with. You then look at the European model and notice the timing with this. We're not getting the precip in the morning. It's coming later on in the afternoon into early evening. So we actually get an onset of the moisture later on in the day when we already have that warmer air aloft established, meaning freezing rain and sleet. And all of that could end up with pretty catastrophic impacts here across the area, depending on those ice totals. You then lead to possible power outages and rough road conditions. You have temperatures that are below zero as we head through parts of Tuesday, really Monday night and then into Tuesday night, and that could just lead to really prolonged terrible conditions as we head through. Yeah, I'm actually really impressed, Adam. That was pretty good. You're better at guitar than you are at pickleball, so that's really good. 28 degrees. He's mediocre at pickleball. 28 degrees in Beach Mountain right now. A lot of blue sky out there, so looking pretty nice across the high country. Right now it's 19 in Concord, 18 in Salisbury, 24 in Albemarle and in Charlotte, 21 as you head toward Morganton and Boone this morning, sitting at a very cold 20 degrees. Temperatures will get much colder though as we head into early next week. So stick around. I'll show you that outlook here in a second. But 52 degrees as we head through your Wednesday. So it will be pretty close to average, really right at average as we head through the day. Expect some clouds to stream into the area with winds out of the southwest. And this southerly wind or southwesterly wind is actually going to allow temperatures to stay pretty mild as we head into tomorrow as well, all ahead of this approaching cold front. And then we'll have the storm system. But we have to get through the first couple of days here. Thursday, 4 a.m. Temperatures will be cool, but we are going to see more clouds, so not as cold. And with that southwesterly wind, those temperatures again not as cold over the next couple of days. Rain chances, just rain as we head through Thursday into Friday. Will be isolated to widely scattered. Temperatures will be cooler with a wind direction shift as we head through the day on Friday, which will set the stage for an Arctic area of high pressure to develop to the north, area of low pressure pumping in moisture from the south. Both of these things, we are right in the bullseye here in the Carolinas for a winter storm as we head into Saturday and heading into Sunday. I'm showing you both computer models right now that we are taking a look at. We'll have more computer models come into play over the next about 24 to 48 hours. But you look at the American model, a couple of things. You have precipitation type on here, and then you have the timing. So this is Saturday at 9 a.m. This is why I'm leaving the time frame broad, Saturday into Sunday, because this one model, the American, the GFS, is showing the onset of moisture pretty early in the day, meaning we could just start a snow because the whole column of air will be below freezing. You then get warm air in the middle levels of the atmosphere, and that's when you start to get this mix, this sleet and freezing rain, which I am buying. This is the American model. Again, starting early, onset of snow, that could very well shift. We look at the European model, which I am leaning more toward a later onset of precipitation, hardly any snow in Charlotte with a freezing rain and sleet mix. A prolonged period of that could lead to power lines down, tree branches on top of those power lines, so leading to widespread power outages across parts of the Carolinas. Exactly where that sets up is still at question. One thing we also really are confident on, one, a winter storm is happening, just the precip type, exact amounts, and when the onset of moisture starts is a question, but the cold air will be locked in. This is 6 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, you guys. We are going to be below zero or single digits. That's not a wind chill. That's an actual air temperature flop. So over the last about 6 to 12 hours, we have seen these models shift to the north, meaning less snow, more ice for us. I'm expecting potentially a southern shift, then a northerly shift. This is why this far out we can't nail down exact precipitation types. We still have to look at the timing, the column of air. I am expecting ice. We are trending more icy than we are snowy, which leads to greater impacts. Those impacts being power outages and rough roads. The timing, Saturday into Sunday, all precipitation types. Prepare now, you guys. My Harris Teeter was bonkers yesterday, so just prepare so you get what you need for you and your family. Food, water, medicine, flashlights, batteries. Have that extra alternative heat source as well. If you can't go out and get a generator, at least extra blankets, possibly a battery-powered space heater as well if the power goes out. Go ahead and check those carbon monoxide and smoke detectors out there as well. Your temperatures this morning are in the upper teens to low 20s. It is a frigid start out there. We'll see those average temperatures though as we travel through the day today. Starting off very cold, but average low 50s with partly cloudy skies. As we head through your Wednesday, a very chilly start again, but an average January day on tap. Looking at your future track, you can see those temperatures touching about 50, southwesterly winds out there. That'll continue Wednesday into Thursday. More clouds build in tomorrow though, with a couple of isolated showers Thursday and then heading into Friday. Pretty few and far between, just rain Thursday, Friday, but quite the opposite as we head into Saturday and heading